Well, the remnants of Hurricane Debby continue to wreak havoc as the storm moves up the U.S. East Coast and now into Canada. A 78-year-old woman died yesterday when a tree fell on her home in North Carolina, pushing the death toll to at least 8. The storm has also generated damaging tornadoes across the Carolinas and a flash flood alert today in Washington, D.C. Montreal and southern Quebec and eastern Ontario also dealing with heavy rainfall from Debby. It is expected to continue right throughout the day. Environment Canada has issued a rainfall warning for the region and has warned about the risk of localized flooding. CBC's Allison Northcott is in Montreal, has been covering this story for us. So Allison, set the scene for us. I see a lot of water pooling behind you there. How bad has it been?
Well, right now the rain has let up a bit, but earlier today and overnight, the rain was falling quite heavily. So we did see some basements flooding. We saw roadways covered with water, and we saw some localized flooding in some areas. Already by around 10 a.m., Environment Canada said about 60 to 70 millimeters of rain had already fallen, and we could see up to 120 millimeters of rain throughout the day in some parts of Quebec. So we are expecting that rain to continue throughout the day, and at some points it could be quite heavy. So that is a major challenge for city officials and for transport officials as they tried to deal this morning with roads and underpasses that were flooding. We saw cars getting stuck, basements full of water. Have a listen to some residents who did get caught up in that this morning.
I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I've traveled this area every day and I've never seen flooding like that. This morning, the water just came up like crazy, and people are just driving through it like it's nothing, and a lot of cars were stuck earlier and were towed away. But
I just coming up, and after some time I just kind of stuck, and I think some water go through the engine or something. The car is not even turning on. So I pushed the car by myself to here and is trying to reach the mechanic or someone coming to help me out.
So those are the kinds of things that some residents were dealing with this morning during those really heavy periods of downpour. We've also seen events throughout different parts of Quebec that have been canceled, outdoor events, things like parts of a comedy festival and music events as well that have been canceled because of the rain and the forecast.
Indeed, and obviously seeing it, as this gentleman described, coming in fast and furious. And we know that the Montreal, for example, sort of in the middle of this, storm, right at the center of it. What are you watching for the rest of the day in terms of the weather? But then there's also all of the cleanup.
Yeah, so there is still more rain expected to fall over the coming hours. Environment Canada says in a normal month of August, the average rainfall for the entire month is about 94 millimeters. And we could see more than that fall just today alone. So that is one of the concerns, is just the amount of rain that can fall in a short period of time. That's where you see these situations of flash flooding like what we saw this morning. Have a listen to someone from the Transport Ministry of Quebec talking about some of those challenges.
This is an extraordinary amount of rain where we're seeing what we get usually in a month in one day. And so no storm sewer system can take that. And it's not about the amount as much as the concentration of it. So we've seen massive amounts of rain, but in a short amount of time this morning. And that's what has led to the accumulation.
So officials say that they have been expecting this. They have been preparing for this. They knew that this weather system was coming. They've been trying to make sure drains are cleared so that there wasn't an accumulation of leaves, for example, so that water could pass through. But with how much water has fallen and could fall continuing this afternoon, Environment Canada says there is still that risk for flash flooding and other kinds of damage because of the rain.
All right. Well, we'll be watching for it in hopes that, the recovery is much quicker here. Allison, thank you for the CBC's Allison Northcott for us in Montreal.